Well, what type of law did you go into early on?
I went into my first legal job. So I clerked doing family law. I worked at a family law boutique firm. And so when I graduated from law school, I ended up going into labor and employment law. I had clerked at the big firm doing labor and employment law. And so I found a boutique firm in Houston and I worked there for about 2 years. The work was interesting, but I wouldn't say that it was the right fit. And I worked in-house for a friend of mine. He started a company. So it was a startup company. And I worked for him for about 3 years, but I realized like I really am not a transactional attorney. I needed the action. I miss the action. It's not like I really had a lot of action in my first legal job, but I wanted some action. And I would talk to my friends who were in the thick of it at big firms, trial prep, staying up all night, stressed beyond belief. And I remember feeling like envious, like I want some of that. And it's crazy to think now that I would want some of that. I don't want some of that. But back then I was like, I want some, like I was just like, I want the action. And so after I was there for about 3 years, we entered like a little bit of a slow period. And I asked him if I could go and start doing child protective services again. I had done the children's rights clinic when I was at UT and I loved it. And at the Children's Rights Clinic, you solely represent children in foster care, children involved with child protective services. And so I thought I really enjoyed that my last year of law school. And so I was like, let me go and revisit that. So I asked him if he was okay with it. He said yes. And I did it. And then 6 months later, I left the company and I started to do that full time.